F is for fail. Author Rabindranath Tagore. The head and the tail, or better still, Rahu and Ketu. How did it look if they turned away from each other sulkily? That was precisely the case here. The ancient Haldar family had split into two, raised a brick wall along the center of the gigantic mansion, and the two halves sat with their backs to one another. One refused to set eyes on the other. Nabagopal son Nalin and Nandi Gopal son Nanda were of same lineage, of similar age, attending to the same school, and of the same opinion where their age-old family feud was concerned. Nalin's father Nabagopal was of strict disposition. He kept his son on his toes with studies and more studies. Under the weight of his school books were crushed his son's every craving for spontaneous play, for junk food, and for stylish clothes. Nanda's father, Nani Gopal, was the lenient one. Nanda's mother dressed him with care and sent off to school along with a handsome pocket money of 3 annas. Hence, Nanda had the luxury of indulging in some ice candy, some roasted nuts, spinning tops, and colored marbles, which he consumed and shared equally and gained considerable popularity in his peer group. Admitting defeat without a word, Nalin always thought, if only Nanda's father was my father and vice versa, then I would have seen who is better. But before such an event could come to pass, Nanda began to win prizes every year. Nalin came home empty-handed, complaining of unfair biases, partiality from the school authorities. His father changed his school, hired tutors at home, and even took an hour of his night's sleep and added to his study time. But the result was the same as ever. Nanda passed every year and soon cleared his BA exams. Nalin failed again and again and remained stuck in the mousetrap of the entrance class or the final year in the school indeterminately. At such a time, his father took pity on him. The man died. After 3 years of valiant struggle, he was freed from the deadly vice of entrance class, and a sovereign Nalin now flashed his sparkling rings, his gold buttons, his costly watch, and strutted about trying his best to vanquish the fading glory of the lackluster Nanda. The carriage buggy of entrance failed raced past, the horse-drawn Ikka of BA passed effortlessly, and the university degrees paled beside the Velar horses. Meanwhile, the hunt was on for good matches for both Nanda and Nalin. Nalin vowed that he would marry a girl who was beyond compare. Nanda must be made to admit defeat before his carriage the wood was bright, and the match was fixed. The trousseau was being put together, when suddenly, one day, a stream of maids and servants were seen leaving Nani Gopal's home with decorous plates full of variety of trousseau on their heads. Nalin said, "Go and have a look. What are they up to?" He was told that it was the trousseau meant for Nanda's intended bride. Instantly, Nalin stopped puffing on the hubble bubble and sat up straight. "This I must look into." The very next minute the carriage pulled up at the gate and raced away carrying the spies and messengers. Bipin Hazara came back with the news. "She is from Kolkata, but she is a gem all right." Nalin's face fell. "What are you saying?" But Hazara simply repeated, "Gem of a girl." Nalin said, "This I must see for myself." His messenger said, "That is easy," and he rubbed his index finger and the thumb together to show the jingle of a coin. Nalin made the arrangements and saw the girl. The more he pondered over the fact that this girl was Nanda's bride, the more his belief strengthened that she was more attractive than the girl from Rawalpindi. In the throes of quandary, Nalin asked his staff, "What do you think?" Hazara said, "Well, we feel she is quite a beauty." Nalin asked, "Is she prettier, or is that one?" Hazara said, "This one." At this, Nalin began to perceive that the girl's eyelashes were a shade thicker than that girl's. Her complexion was a tad rosier than the other girl's, with a hint of gold in the yellowish tinge to it. It would be a foolhardy indeed to let this one get away. Nalin lay on his back, puffing his hookah despondently, as he said, "Hey there, Hazra, what do you think we can do?" Hazra replied, Your Highness, that is easy. And once again he rubbed his index and thumb together to show the jingle. Needless to say, when the coins began to jingle for real, the desired effect was not hard to achieve. The bride's father picked a quarrel with groom's father for no apparent reason. The groom's father declared, "If I ever let my son marry your daughter, then," and so on and so forth. The bride's father went a notch higher and said, "And if I ever let my daughter wed your son, then," and so on and so forth. Thereafter, without further ado, Nalin raced past Nanda and rushed to marriage with great pomp and ceremony at the appointed hour. He laughed as he exclaimed to Hazra, "Well, well, this is called passing with distinction, eh, Hazra? M.A. is for marriage, right? This time our Babu of the other house has failed for sure." In a matter of few weeks, Nani Gopal's house also resounded with the sound of Sehnai and kettle drums. It was Nanda's wedding day. Nalan said, "Hey there, Hazra, go and have a look. Who is the bride?" Hazra came back bearing the news. The bride was the girl from Rawalpindi. The Rawalpindi girl? Nalan laughed himself to bits. The Babu of the other house could find no one else to wed. He had to pick the one we had rejected. Hazra joined in the laughter gleefully. But as time passed, Nalan's laughter grew weaker and weaker. His cheer was affected by a virus. A tiny germ of doubt whispered in his ears shrilly, "Oh dear, this one got away." And finally she fell to Nalan's lot. The tiny germ of doubt gradually swelled in size like a blood-sucking leech, and its voice grew heavier and louder. It said, "Now there is no way for you to get her. But in reality, she was the prettier one. You have been duped." When Nalan went indoors for his meal, each and every tiny flaw of his wife's nature glared at him and jeered at him. He began to feel that his wife had played a cruel trick on him. When he had been engaged to the girl from Rawalpindi, he had received a photograph of her. Now he took it out and gazed at it. Heavens above, what a fetching beauty! And I rejected this goddess? What an idiot I am! The night the groom left for his wedding reception in a magnificent carriage, with lights, color, and bands of musicians, Nalan lolled in bed, trying to extract a modicum of consolation from his hubble-bubble when Hazra arrived. Full of cheer, laughing gleefully and getting ready to poke some fun at Nanda, Nalan hollered, "Watchman!" Hazra recoiled fearfully and Nalan pointed at Hazra and said in his broken Hindi, "Abhi isko kaan pakod ke bahar nikal do. Grab this man by the ears and throw him out this very minute."